So now we shall be going about in a very, systematic manner. Like for example, one team will be presenting about a specific task, right? They will be pitching their idea. Then if the teammates have something to improve upon or something like that, they can speak up. After that, the opposition, that is the other four teams, will be speaking, and they shall be either finding flaws in the ideas of the first team, or just yeah, they shall be finding flaws most probably, and you can cross question also. So remember, you will be judged as a team and individually too.
You use a camera module, right?
You have to present your team idea only.
Sir, can you unmute, ma'am?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I was telling about the attendance of the students. So the decision we all landed on is we can use the camera and then check the percentage and the amount of students who all are present in the class.
And nextly, to avoid the mobile phones, we decided to use radio wave sensors because the mobile emits the radio waves and those sensors will placed in the class. So if any student uses the mobile phones, the sensors will capture it and send a SMS to the teacher, I guess.
And then coming up on the pandemic, we decided, for example, if there's an earthquake, we can use a normal seismic meter to detect it. And for example, if there's a fire emergency, we could use a smoke sensor to check that, and then connect it with a fire alarm. And then next, coming up for the vehicles and parking, we could use the RFID and the LED.
So,
Sorry.
and we will use the ultrasonic sensors that will detect the presence of car, if there is car or not, and it will be sent to the person, so he will get to know that there is a slot empty or not.
Yeah, and then they'll be forwarded to the LED sensor, and it will show the color either green or red, indicating the empty and the occupied parking.
Move on to the next problem.
And then for the Juggies Cafe, we could use
we can use the ultrasonic sensors to detect the presence of how much people is there. And
Abhishek, once again, I'm going to ask you to restrict to the solution that you arrived in the breakout room.
But I have answered to the ultrasonic for the people.
Yeah, but
I have answered for ultrasonic for measuring the people.
Yeah, you have, right? But the team arrived at a different conclusion. I'm hoping you guys arrived at a conclusion.
Yeah, we arrived at a different conclusion. We arrived at we could use a camera and display its visual outside, and that would be really easy for the person coming in, and then to check out the empty seats if there is any.
Actually, we have also discussed about the IR sensor at the back of the benches.
We have discussed about the infrared sensor, infrared camera.
Also, once again, I'm going to tell you guys that we are not going to grade you for speaking right now, because you've already been graded for putting your points forward. So this is just to put your points forward in front of the other teams, right? So there's no, this was my idea, this is his idea. It's your collective, you're representing a team right now. But now the individual round is already over. Now it's a team-based round. You have to come up as the best team, right?
So I'm really sorry. Team will be judged.
So I'm really sorry to intervene, but I wanted to ask, will the cross-questioning round be held separately after the presentation or during the presentation itself? We have to...
Now. After, as soon as AMD is done with presenting their idea, everybody is free to question AMD.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. And with respect to your idea regarding the security system for the hostels.
Yeah, so go on AMD, guys.
So for the security system, we have decided that idea only, that smoke sensors and seismograph and RFID tags to students, these three ideas.
And also we can
air quality index.
Can I speak, buddy?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anybody who'd like to question these guys, feel free to raise your hand.
Yes. Okay.
Really sorry, but I'm not really comfortable with Zoom, so I know how to raise my hand, but I wanted to ask a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first question is regarding the radio wave sensors, because this is a really bad idea, because अगर radio wave sensors sense भी कर लें कि phones use हो रहे हैं and एक notification भेज भी दें teacher को, तो ये class को पता नहीं कितनी बारी disturb करेगी बीच में. The second question that I wanted to raise was about the ultrasonic sensors, because ultrasonic sensors outside will require everyone to carry their phones at all times outside the cafeteria. The third cross question is regarding the camera issue, the camera thing that you were using for the cafe. If we use a camera, then we'll also require, there will be an additional need to install an LCD outside the cafeteria so that everyone can see कि कितनी seats vacant or kitni occupied hai. And what if I just happen to throw a ball and break the LCD twice a month? So it will be an additional cost of 80,000 per month or around 8 lakhs per annum. So one question, wo kahan se fund hoga? And the last question that I had, just one second.
Wait a minute. Don't get too hypothetical with your questions. Keep balls LCD 2 tran or whatnot.
Then we can afford a security guard outside the.
Yeah, because
If
calm down,
the
you guys. Calm
sensors are
down.
breaking down, then we will have to need security everywhere, right? So that is not a question.
Sir, camera is not a sensor, but basically using sensors.
Camera is a sensor. It senses light. It has light sensor.
But like,
I have a doubt. I have a doubt about that parking area. You're saying that you will install ultrasonic sensors, but you will have to install at every place where the car parks. So that will be no cost effective.
there's another significant problem. So
All right, guys. All right. First of all, try to proceed in an orderly manner. I asked you guys to raise your hands. Nobody has raised their hand.
so I had raised my hand, but I was not being recognized. And
Yeah,
many
we
people
recognize you guys from.
Okay.
We recognize you guys from now on. We're gonna not allow you to unmute yourselves. So all right, raise your hand if you want to ask.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask the representative from A&D that if you are using a camera in the class to check attendance, wouldn't that be too tiresome for the professor, because he will have to check all the students and tally in his attendance sheet or whatever document he has and check हाँ भाई ये
No,
बच्चा आया कि नहीं.
actually no, because we are using to replace the biometric system.
I'm sorry.
Once again, I would ask you not to change your ideas mid.
No, we are not. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, sir, that was my only question.
All right.
Yeah, so I was saying that no, the professor has nothing to do with the camera, firstly, and there are different guys appointed to check the camera, and it could be done after the lecture, so that there's nothing stopping him or the professor. And I think the camera is a cheaper and a better option or a better way to do the attendance, and the
because the
guards will,
biometric system will be very expensive.
You done? Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, people are.
I would like to ask a question.
Yes, I would like to.
Yeah, go ahead with it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like the cameras you were saying, like they are previously mostly installed in every rooms, but there's not a need necessary. But there are some like there's some faculty needed to check the room. It would be too tiresome for them. Not if it's not the professor, but it would be too tiresome. And on the second hand, like you said, the electromagnetic waves and all that for the mobile detection, it wouldn't tell which student is using the phone, and like it might disturb a teacher a lot. Like once a student switches, one student switches, the other student switches.
With it.
Well, bro, we have decided to place multiple sensors, not one sensor for single class. It will be installed in multiple places, multiple sensors. So the particular sensor which detects the maximum thing it will send that SMS. We have decided
but
to place multiple sensors, right?
Yeah, but you cannot tell which student is using the phone with that.
So the class is not of 200 students. It has to be somewhat less, like 40 to 50 students. So there will be matlab,
So what
5
you will
to
say
6
that
sensors.
All right,
So
all
it
right,
will
all right.
Tell which place of the class.
All right, fair enough. Also, Vidit,
yes,
I hope that Qualcomm has a better solution to this than these guys. If you're that.
yes, yes.
All right, fair enough. Suprit.
All right, so I noticed a lot of problems with AMD's solution. Okay, so firstly, okay, so a lot was talked about the parking system, but they didn't mention how a message would be. Also, they talked about ultrasonic sensors, but not about how the message would be sent regarding which parking spot is empty. Okay, secondly, the camera solution also, as pointed by other people, is very inefficient because the camera by itself cannot recognize who is in the class. So someone has to manually see through the whole video every time. Now, regarding the earthquake system, they simply did not talk about how the message of the calamity would be transmitted to the entire hostel, which is the entire point of having a security system. And regarding Juggy, they did not elaborate on how a simple ultrasonic sensor can somehow detect the number of people in a room, and how would they prevent other people from entering the room if the total number that has been decided according to social distancing norms has been fulfilled. So I would like the representative of AMD to answer all these questions.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
Suprit, very
So,
well put.
as you said, and as you first pointed at the parking is on the RFIDs, and then the ultrasonic, and then the ultrasonic will be transferred in the LED. And in most of the countries, it's done like this. Like when a car is coming inside, like with its RFID, obviously. So then when it's parked, after the ultrasonic radiations, the LED gives a signal because of the coding and programming. If it's red, then it means the parking is occupied. And if it's green, it means it's empty. And then with the program itself, and due to the artificial intelligence, we can program the cameras also. And as you all know, the attendance is done in the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes of each class. After that, any student entering is not considered. So in the first only 5 minutes will be watched, and all the students coming inside the lectures will be marked present.
All right, fair enough.
And then moving at the last, the
go on.
cafeteria. The cafeteria, I just said that a camera visual will be displayed outside. Hence, it will represent, as you know, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So it will display how many seats are available and how is there social distancing maintained or not. You can see it from the way outside.
All right, all right. So that is it. So since we can't just keep entertaining questions, we'll ask the next team to present now, and then others can ask questions. If you have something that is better than these guys, what these guys had, obviously that would be noted. So don't worry. We'll be keeping we'll limit this to around 6-7 questions per team, right? And we're already done with that for AMD. So we'll move on to the next team. People from AMD, I'd recommend that you mute yourselves. So I guess ARM is next.
Thank you.
Yeah, sir, Suprit will be giving the first part of the presentation.
Okay, a very good morning, ladies, and very good evening, ladies and
Suprit, before you proceed, I'd ask you although I know that you love to debate, but I'd ask you to stick to the technical aspect of the problem and not be very eloquent as such.
Okay,
That's just a suggestion because time is a constraint over here.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so coming straight to the problem now regarding the attendance issue. So what we propose is a two-step solution. So number one, every student would be issued a unique RFID card, and there would be a contactless RFID scanner that would automatically, sense who's entering the room. And this would be placed inside the lecture hall in clear view of the teacher, so that no one can just flash their RFID tags and just run away out of the class. Now, to prevent the significant loophole in this problem, that is so just transferring your RFID card to someone else to become a proxy. So I was informed by the mentors that Thapa already has an infrastructure having CCTV cameras and also AI software that can sort of recognize faces. So this would act as a second barrier to prevent proxy. So whenever the teacher suspect that someone is acting as a proxy, the AI would always be there. The AI, of course, isn't perfect, but this will be only used when the teacher is suspicious of the fact that there are proxies being there. Now, secondly, coming to the issue of mobile phones, we can simply use the age-old method of circuit jammers. Team AMD was talking about notifications sent to the teacher and identifying. We propose a solution that simply would prevent people from using their using internet. Now, they can browse social media, they can play online games, which is pretty much most of the things people do anyways. Now, regarding emergency calls, the professor would always be available and someone can always call the Thapa helpline. So that isn't an issue at all. Now, coming to coming to opening doors and that.
Yeah. So I'll be discussing the parking sensor part.
Oh, wait. I'm still on. Just give me 1 minute. So regarding the opening doors thing, we can always have 3 proximity sensors, one on the entry side, one on the exit side, and one in between, so that whenever someone is near the proximity sensor, the door would automatically open, and there would be a 5-second timer so that so nothing is jammed, and also social distancing is maintained, and so that's how the doors would be automated. And now I'd like to hand over to my teammate to explain the next problem.
Yeah, so I'll be discussing the parking problem part. So what our team proposes is that we'll be using ultrasonic sensor placed at every parking spot. And like as some of you might have used a keypad matrix. So in a keypad matrix, each key is mapped. So like in a similar way, we could make out a 2D map of which sensor is working and which is not, and plan out a 2D map. And this map would be uploaded on an app to the professor. So I would also like to point out that AMD didn't say how they would do that and how they would implement this, how each person would get to know this, and it would be a professor specific task, I suppose. So now next part I would call Suprit.
Okay, now considering the security system, which team AMD totally didn't mention, once
again, Suprit, this is not a debate. Just stick to your points.
Okay, apologies. Okay. All right. So the solution we propose is we'll be having accelerometer sensors all across the hostel campus, which would be able to detect whenever there's an earthquake. Furthermore, to transmit and furthermore regarding fires, we'll be having smoke detectors and fire alarms installed throughout the hostel building. We'll also be having so we can either have a PA system if the college already has budget for that, or we can simply have loud buzzers which will ring whenever the sensors input an earthquake or a fire. So now using these buzzers, people all across the hostel, regardless of the fact that they're using mobile phones or not, can be informed that there's a calamity and the further procedures can be implemented. Now regarding the Juggy thing, I'd again like to hand over to my teammate.
Thank you, Suprit. So regarding this, the Juggy Cafe, we'll be using automated doors, and we'll be using a temperature or an infrasonic sensor as per the situation that suffices. So, and the temperature would be monitored, and we would also install an LCD or LED screen outside the cafeteria, showing how many people have gone using the data that we have inputted from the sensor that we have placed outside. And so this way we will continue.
I'd also like to add that if the number of people has exceeded the limiting number, then the door would remain closed. No one can enter unless you physically contact.
And there will be a live feedback of how many people are there on the LCD screen.
All right. Very well presented, I must say. So who would like to ask questions? Just raise your hands. Fine, I guess I'll repeat myself. If you would like to ask any questions to Team ARM, please raise your hands. Fair enough. I guess nobody wants to ask you guys anything. So are you guys open to questions from mentors?
There are 5 hands. Like 5 people have raised their hands.
Oh, I can't. Oh, my bad. I couldn't see them before because my screen was somehow lagging. My bad.
Right. So can I start up with my questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, starting off with the class system, I'll go systematically. I'll start with the class system first. So, you said there will be a system where you're not allowing the students to access to the internet. However, emergency calls can be done. I do not know how you're going to filter that because you've not mentioned any as such protection system on the phone. Secondly, you
Excuse me,
said the internet.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. Can I answer question by question? It becomes difficult to track all the questions.
Sure.
Fine,
sure,
go
sure,
ahead.
sure.
Okay. So now answering this, our solutions for emergency contacts. Okay, now of course there won't be the phone signals would be jammed across the entire room. So there would be a dedicated Thaper helpline where you can call and then they can communicate it to the professor or the concerned student. So every parent would have this number. Everyone would be aware of this number. It would be a helpline of sorts. You can always call, mention the student name, and they'll automatically transmit the message. So that solves that issue.
I do not think you understand the point of my question. My question was,
I
how is
think-
the student going to access to emergency call? Because
They can
if you're
inform the
restricting the
professors.
use of
They can inform the professors
in
who
between a
can
lecture, in every
yeah, it's an emergency situation.
Like emergency is an emergency, so you couldn't do anything.
fair
Exactly.
enough, fair
All
enough.
right.
Okay. Next question. You mentioned the presence of 3 proximity sensors, one in the entry, one in the exit, and one in between, and that they would only work around and would have the usage of automated doors, as in when a student enters. During a time period, there can be a lot of students entering together. So the fact that the automated door could stay apart for a very long period of time, and for crowd timings, what are you planning on doing about that? Because then it's going to stay apart. So like, how is it preventing any form of social distancing?
Yeah, okay, so I'll answer that. So that's a fairly simple solution. These sensors can always be coded to be timed, and I think I also mentioned this. So there'll be, say, a 5-second buffer. So in that 5-second buffer, the door would not open. So that would prevent crowds, and the time for which the door stays open, that will be limited. And to prevent accidents, there would also be a proximity sensor that senses when you are right in the line of the door. So it doesn't close if you are there for a long time anyways. So I think that answers the question. It will be timed. It will be coded to be timed.
Fair enough. Okay. Regarding, I'm done with the classroom questions. It seemed to suffice the answers. For the parking, how do you plan on developing an app which can actually tell you how many cars are there in the parking lot and which one specifically is free? Because that's the whole point of the problem. There can be a specific parking free, but you do not know where it is, since it may be a large parking system. So how do you plan on locating and developing an app which can actually tell every individual who wants to park a car where and which location is free for them?
What
Yeah,
do you want to take over?
Yeah. So first of all, as I've told, we are using ultrasonic sensor to detect if any car is there. All right. So, and as for detecting the app development, I suppose app development is not, we're not asking for how to develop apps. We're asking more of a practical solution. Yeah. Is it okay? Like, I'll continue forward.
I get it. Continue, please continue. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah. And the rest part being and as the question said, it's more specifically for the professor. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I'll just like to quickly add that so the output of the ultrasonic sensors, which tell you whether a car is there or not, can easily be relayed using a GPRS module or similar modules to a central.
All right.
To the database from which.
Yes, we got it. Your answer is pretty satisfactory. Oishiki, do you want to ask anything else?
No, I'm done.
All right, moving on to the next person. I think Apoor.
Yes, sir. I have a doubt related to the accelerometer solution given for the earthquake. First of all, laying earthquakes throughout the campus is very costly, and each accelerometer has 4 to 5 wires, so there will be a lot of mess. And second of all, the effect of earthquake would be negligible on an accelerometer. Like the same effect could also be produced by playing loud music near the sensor or dribbling balls, etc.
Okay, so I'll answer this by saying that firstly, the problem statement was only for the hostel, and we wouldn't be needing too many accelerometers because if there's an earthquake in one region of the hostel, of course it would be there in another region as well. So multiple accelerometers would just be to confirm the readings. And yes, there are sensitive accelerometers which can detect earthquakes. So I guess that answers the question.
All right, moving on to the next question. We have Kunal.
I'd like to question,
You say that you can catch the student when the sir is suspicious, but that's the whole point, that sir doesn't have to check who's there and who is not.
Alright, this is again very hypothetical. So if you have any like technical fault,
Yeah, so the
that you can
RFID
find.
already filters a lot of these cases.
The cards
Alright,
can't be
moving on.
exchanged.
Yeah, but we could also do that once a card is scanned, it can't be scanned again for a certain period of time. So that could secure that part.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't need.
we already have. I already proposed the camera and the AI
Yeah,
based thing.
and
So
the
so
RFID
that's
that can be scanned only once for a specific duration. So that would take care of that problem, I guess.
But as you said that the AI will be checked when the sir is suspicious, but the sir doesn't have to check who's there and who is not in the first place to be sure. That is the whole point of using the sensors.
yeah. So the exchanging of RFID things would be very less frequent because you'll have to miss your classes to give your RFID tag to someone
Yeah,
else.
and that
Now,
also
when
would
someone
be
does it when someone does it too often, the professor of course would be suspicious, and they can always check the AI database.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason we are having two levels is because the AI is not always very accurate. And but then again, if the professor is suspicious and the AI also confirms it, then I guess it's a pretty good lead
Alright,
to take
alright.
further action.
Yeah. Very acceptable answer. Moving on to the next question. Abhishek.
So first of all, our point was that students should not use mobile phones. It's not all about social media, but students can download music and movies. So the point of not using mobile phones is not solved.
Yeah, I
Secondly,
responded
the
to that.
Wi-Fi jammers could easily be hacked. So basically, IoT, we use ESP8266 to make Wi-Fi jammers, and there are programs that will anti-jam it. There are.
Yeah, I would
And
like to tell
firstly, the
one
basic problem of not using mobile phones is not.
Alright. Your point is very well
So
said.
I should
Just
just
answer.
like to answer one part. Yeah, like there is one thing, like if you get very slow speed on the net, would you like to use the internet? Like if you get
I think his question was that fine, your internet jam is very successful, but then what's to prevent the kid from like downloading a movie and coming and watching it in the classroom?
Yes, and
That was his
downloading
question.
songs.
Okay. I'll answer that. Okay, so firstly, for watching a movie, you need to enable your sound or use earphones, and earphones
Yeah.
are pretty easy to spot. Okay, and secondly, mostly students use online things on the wall. Like, there's not much you can
And
do offline.
nobody practically see nobody nowadays downloads a movie and use it. And if there is,
That is not the solution. People download music and listen. They can use
Alright.
simple earpods, like the
Alright.
teacher
See,
can
the
translate.
only solution to that is taking away the mobile phone, which is not really an adequate solution, especially considering the coronavirus time. And I think this is the best possible compromise we can have.
I don't think that.
Alright, guys, calm down. You just need to answer the question. You don't need to fight that who is right and who is wrong. Okay. So we'll move on to the next team now. I'm sorry if I didn't acknowledge everyone, but time is a really big constraint for us. So I guess the next team would be.
Thank you, sir, for giving us this opportunity to speak.
No problem, man.
Thank you and sorry.
Team Intel.
Alright, greetings to all. So, Team Intel ने सबसे पहले problem statement को divide किया in 7 to 8 sub problems to address. So the first point that we would like to address is the proxy issues that the institute was facing. The most optimal solution that Team Intel came up with was introducing fingerprint sensors plus a sanitizer, keeping in mind the pandemic era, and also noting the fact that a single fingerprint sensor costs just around 1,000 rupees. There shouldn't be any economical issue. The second problem that we were facing was the usage of mobile phones during classes. Again, a very simple solution: signal jammers. Also 6,000 to 8,000 range, not an economical issue again. Then parking issues, proximity sensors linked with a Wi-Fi sensor to notify whether the parking lots are free or not. Third was to notify in case of an emergency or a calamity. So we suggest installing smoke, IR, and buzzer module sensors. The next issue was detecting the number of people in Jaggi or the cafeteria. For this, we propose IR sensor, thermal imaging. Also, these cost around 57 to 4,000 rupees, and again, not an issue. And another thing that we proposed for detecting the number of people was introducing ID cards, which will count the number of people in Jaggi. So that was another optimal solution we came up with. Another problem that we were facing was the sanitation issue. So for that, we suggest using contactless thermometers and a sanitizer before admission into the classrooms or the cafeteria, which is Jaggi. And for the problem that we had of that we need to avoid touching the doors, we suggest knock sensors so that the doors automatically open and we avoid touching. So that's all the team.
All right. Very well put. I think this should be an example to further teams. Keep your solution short and brief. So AMD say we have Abhishek. He'll be asking the first question.
So basically, a person is going to eat at cafeteria. How will he get the ID cards? He will get an ID card first, and then he will eat at cafeteria. So it will be not very feasible. It isn't feasible. So person is
considering
go to the institute and get an ID card for that.
All right.
Excuse me. I think our team forgot a point. We also suggested using heartbeat sensors before and after entering our dorms or hostels in order to maintain safety, so that we can check the temperature and pulse and ensure that they are all right. The children are all right before entering and exiting the hostel.
Yeah, we had that one. I'm really sorry I missed that.
All right, no problem.
So the pulse sensors have to touch the skin to measure the pulse. It is not a wireless thing that it can measure the pulses in here. It has to touch the skin to measure the.
I'm really sorry to intervene, but can you please repeat the first question, because I actually lost.
I think the first question. I'll repeat it. The first question was that how do you expect everyone to carry their ID cards when they're just going to eat something? The second question was.
All right, I'll answer the first question first. Expecting everyone to carry their ID cards, especially keeping in mind the post-pandemic era, because pandemic was a thing that was a really big point of discussion in our team. So this is something that is expected from every student. इतनी responsibility students के तरफ से expected है. And I guess for institutes like Thapar, उसके students इतने civilized तो होने चाहिए.
Fair enough.
The casual life of student will be destroyed if he has to make ID card.
इतनी बड़ी problem.
All right, it's okay. You're getting stuck at a very trivial point, that whether a student will carry an ID card or not. I'm asking you to stick to technical points. All right, that how does this, assuming the solution they presented.
The pulse rate sensors need to touch the skin. So how will you measure the pulse? It is not a wireless thing.
One thing that we included in every point was keeping a sanitizer handy.
Why would a person?
Fair enough. Again, hypothetical. If they are assuming the students are carrying sanitizer, it's on them.
They are assuming that.
No, not. I'm not assuming the students carry sanitizers, but जहाँ पे भी entry point है cafeteria में या classroom में, वहाँ class के बाहर तो sanitizer रख सकते हैं. That is the thing that I wanted to point out.
All right. Fair enough. Moving on to Karamjeet from NVIDIA.
Sir, I have a very basic question. That when you were suggesting the security measures, which were very good, by the way, sir, you absolutely forgot to mention any security measure that you would have taken for an earthquake sort of situation, because that is also a very huge calamity. If not very frequent, it is a very bad situation.
If I'm not wrong, I did mention about the general sensors and notification system, and I guess notification system.
All right, noted. We have Suprit next.
All right, very quick questions. Okay, so firstly, how does the fingerprint sensor solve everything? Because the solution includes a sanitizer. I mean, you could already do that. I mean, you could, if that is an acceptable solution, you could already have sanitizer.
1 second, I had some.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
So the fingerprint sensor basically does not solve the contactless requirement of the problem statement. Secondly, now the Jaggi
I'm really sorry to intervene, but I had some technical issue. I didn't get it.
Okay, the technical issue is the problem statement says it wants to avoid unnecessary contact, but the fingerprint is unnecessary contact when there are better solutions.
All right.
Yeah,
Basically, what he means to say is that there are better solutions around, not necessarily a question as such.
No, so it doesn't solve the contactless part of the problem statement.
The fingerprint sensors हमने इसलिए introduce किए थे over facial recognition systems because of the cost issues, and इसलिए हमने एक sanitizer साथ provide कर दिया था कि as soon as आपका fingerprint sense हो रहा था, just sanitize your hands and get admitted into the class.
All right, just want to ask you one question, like from my end. So the sanitizer thing, how are you dispensing that?
Sorry,
how are you giving
the classroom?
Yeah. How are you giving it to the students?
We will install outside.
Yeah, there's
जिसको
a
पैर से
mechanical
दबाना
sign
होता
of there's a mechanical system जिसमें आप पैर से push करो and हाथ में sanitizer आ जाता है. I don't know what do we call that, but it's a very basic thing.
Okay. Another question. So you guys also talked about a heartbeat sensor. Now I'm not sure how that helps in any way regarding the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, you could be exercising back to your hostel room after exercising, and you'd be having a pretty large heartbeat. I think what you guys were looking for is an oximeter, but you did not mention that in your solution. So how does a heartbeat sensor help in any way?
Very good question. Answer, please.
Heartbeat system was just an additional security measure keeping in mind the pandemic era. आज भी आप compare कर लो, आप if you're going to some restaurant or especially the JE things, वहाँ पे thermometer आपका temperature भी check होता है. तो just for an additional security issue, if someone is having a extraordinarily high heartbeat rate, तो just as a preventive measure हम उसको कैफे से बाहर रखेंगे ताकि by chance if he is infected हम उसको expose ना करें to the general lot of students.
But along with it, हमारे पास उसके लिए थर्मो सेंसर भी है जो टेम्परेचर भी चेक कर रहा है साथ साथ.
ठीक है. We get it. So
okay,
this is it.
Fine. Now, okay. So last quick question. So now regarding.
No. Suprit,
okay, fine.
That's all.
Yeah, all right.
Moving on to the next team, which is going to be Qualcomm.
So good evening, everyone. So let's begin with discussing the problems. The first problem is the proxy problem that I would like to suggest a location sensor. Like हम location sensor use कर सकते हैं in the classroom whenever it detects a mobile. Like in this era, nobody wants to share the mobile with someone, so they won't shift their mobile to someone just to mark the attendance. So like in the location sensors, it could detect the location of the mobile. If the mobile is present in the room, the student might be is present, and it could notify the teachers that all the students are present. And for the second, like the students use the mobile room in class, that's do the same. Like it's a mobile jammer, network jammer. It could jam the network. They are unable to call and use the internet. And on the third, like the door, we could use infrared sensor, which could detect the temperature. In fact, and the location for which the door should open. And we could install the pressure sensor on the bottom, which will additionally suffice in the proxy problem. Like we could introduce two pressure sensors at the beginning of the class, at entering the class and exiting the class. The number of students entering the class, the number of times the pressure is triggered, and minus the number of students exiting the class, minus the then it will tell the attendance. So, and the vehicle problem, we could use ultrasonic sensors. It can be linked to a GPS, and the locations entered can be marked on the GPS. And for the security measure in the hostels, we could use sensors for earthquake, like seismographs and fire alarm smoke sensors and all. And we could link it to a chip and code it. Like whenever a particular sensor is triggered, it makes a specific sound, or it speaks an AI voice for the emergency and guides the students along the path. And for the Juggy, we could use a proximity sensor, or like we could use a pressure sensor at the beginning of the door and at the exiting of the door. So like a person enters, he or she will trigger the sensor, and when the person exits, then too he or she will trigger the sensor. So the person entering minus the person leaving should tell you the number of persons in the Juggy center. And you can use the AI radiations, the AI sensor that we used in the classroom here too, for the temperature and the automatic door opening.
All right. Is that all?
Yeah.
Any questions? Purva, I'm not gonna acknowledging you. Purva. All right.
Yeah,
Keep the.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question that he just mentioned that they would use infrared sensors for measuring temperature and sensing the position. So how are you planning on in doing that?
So like we can code the sensor, no? Like we were told previously that the sensor is used for two things, like temperature measuring and the distance measuring. So when it senses a distance in a close proximity, it could display the temperature and open the door as well, if the temperature is in the range to be allowed to open.
All right.
How will
Fair
you
enough.
sense
Next
the
question.
temperature?
Sorry?
How will you sense the temperature from the IR sensor?
He's saying that he will use the IR sensor for sensing the temperature, and we said that it is used for. You don't need to get into the exact specifics or how you will do it, but I think that's an worthy answer, I guess. All right, Suprit.
All right. So my first question is, your solution for attendance requires all students to have a mobile phone, but you also propose a circuit jammer. But so circuit jammers also block GPS signals. So how does that work?
Yeah, that's that I wanted to point out. Like when the circuit jammer, the network jammer can be switched on as the teachers enter, as the professor enters, or after the 5 minutes of beginning the class, as no student would be allowed to enter after the class. So before that, the GPS could work and mark the attendance.
Okay, so basically you're marked absent if you don't have a mobile phone. Is that what your solution proposes?
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can obviously go to the sir if you don't have a mobile and say him that we are present. Sir would not say anything and no proxy, see.
Yeah, see, but be practical. No, in this time, who would you think wouldn't have a mobile phone?
All right.
Yeah,
Fair
exactly.
Enough. Fair enough answer. Next up, Vanshaj. Sorry, Vanshaj, I muted you by mistake.
Yeah, I don't understand how you would use location sensor to open the doors. And one more thing I would like to suggest that location center can, I've known people that can hack their locations and location sensors to go to another place. So how would you solve that?
So basically, it cannot be hacked. But how could you show your presence in the campus itself, in the room itself? Like it can hack, it can show your presence, but you can hack it, but it cannot necessarily mean that. So I don't get how do you hack something and you will show which is not there. You would present yourself which is not there.
The precise location.
Yeah, it would not. It is not a global server where you can hack anything. Like it's a area bound.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, sir. The first part was how he said how could we open the doors with the location? Sorry, but you didn't hear me. I didn't say about the location. I said it about the IR. I said we would open it with IR.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have ARM. Raghav.
So you answered on the that they will all of them will have a mobile phone and the attendance will be marked through GPS.
Yeah.
So there are many apps on Play Store that can fake the location.
See, that's what I'm telling. It's
once
not
again,
a
this
server.
is a try not to repeat the questions.
Yeah, it's not a global server.
We'll move on to the next one since we don't need to answer the same thing again. Abhishek.
My only point is that having mobile phone every time is not a solution. The phone battery can be over. The student can forget his phone or something. So this is not a best solution. So having mobile phone.
Once again, it's the same thing reiterated. So, but just clarify this for me. What was the solution for the people in the Jaggi wala problem?
So the solution was the infrared and the pressure sensor, like at the exit.
All right. So the problem was actually that you have to find the number of people that are inside.
Yeah,
you have to lock the doors with respect to that, right? But your pressure sensor is actually measuring that the person going in and the person coming out, and then
Yeah,
it's calculating the number of people that were inside.
Yeah.
So that is happening in the past, not in the real time. So I think this would not really work.
See, but like the person who, like a person entered, like processors are not that slow. A person enters, it could add one. A person leaves, it could subtract one, and display the current number of people inside. We do not need an LCD. We can do it on the LED. See, LEDs are
All
very
right,
cheap.
fair enough. So next team, I guess, which is NVIDIA, if I'm not wrong.
Sure. Shall I start, sir?
Yeah, please.
So coming to the first problem, we will be using the IR blast for the different identity of student, and we'll be using signal jammers, RF sensors to block radiations, and we will be using servo motors and the proximity sensor in the automation of doors, and an LED to display the vacant seats. And in the second problem of parking, we will be using simple cameras and Wi-Fi to monitor the real situation at present. And in the third problem, in the hostels, we'll be using accelerometers, buzzers, smoke sensors, and Wi-Fi to provide the informations. Also GSM to send the messages to the authorities. And in the next problem of Jagdish, I think we will be using proximity sensors at the door and servo motors in the door, and IR sensor to check the temperature of a person, and oximeter to check the oxygen level in a person. Heartbeat sensor will be placed at a specific angle. If the heartbeat sensor scans 2 heartbeats, it will alert the buzzer, and the guards can take the action of the social distancing which is not being followed. And coming to the sanitizers, we will be using ultrasonic sensor for sanitizers, as if the person places its hand below the bottle, the motor will automatically provide the sanitizer, and for the person inside will be using LCD and Wi-Fi's. Thank you.
All right, fair enough. Any questions? All right, Vidit, you're on.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, like, how would you use a servo motor as of this solution? It's a motor. No, how would you use that?
I think he meant that he would be using the. Yeah.
I would like to answer that. Sir, we are using the IR or the PIR or the ultrasonic to detect that whether a person is outside the door or not, in front of the door or not. And then the servo motor, because it can orient itself or change the orientation of the object, it will automatically open the door. So the user, the student or the customer won't have to push the door manually. It will automatically.
All right. You don't have to really break it down. We're not 5 over here. We get it.
So, but it's not a servo motor specific. No, but you can place a chip at the door. Works. You can place a chip and it automatically opens. You do not need a servo motor like it.
You need a motor to open a door, of course.
Yeah, but you don't need a servo motor. It's very specific. And one more
question. We are trying to be as cost effective as possible.
So the simple motor would be much cheaper, I believe, than a servo motor.
All right, fair enough. Yes, answer this.
And one more question.
Yes.
So how would IR blaster identify a person? Like the first.
He meant iris scanner, which will scan your pupil and iris of the eye, and you can detect who is it.
It's pretty expensive, I believe.
So in that case, a more cost-effective option would be the fingerprint scanner. And
but then again, that is contact.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. To tackle the contact thing, we will have to install the sanitizer dispensers.
But there are much more solutions to that.
All right. Let's not argue that they could have done this. They have already said that they are doing this. You have to find problems with it. Is all right. So, and you found that.
Yeah,
So that
that
is, I think we can let this matter rest. Next up, I think we have Suprit.
All right. So first quick question. So for the parking problem, you mentioned a simple camera and a Wi-Fi sensor transmitter. So how does a simple camera detect whether a parking space is empty or not? First question.
It
And
doesn't. You can just see the camera where you have more space and try to get there.
Yes,
okay,
exactly. So because we are, let me just
so-
answer this question, then you can ask then you can
all
counter
right,
question.
fine.
Sir, what the problem statement says is that we are only trying to tackle the professor's situation. That's why we are installing camera modules in each of the parking lots, so that when the professor enters the campus, he can just quickly check his phone. The Wi-Fi will transmit the input from the cameras and camera modules, and he can quickly check his phone, check whether हाँ भाई इस parking lot में जगह है और मैं इधर चला जाता हूँ.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Inefficient, I must add, but all right. And now, okay. Second question is there was something mentioned regarding sensing two heartbeats and preventing someone from entering with their two heartbeats. So what exactly does that mean?
The sensors will be the sensor will have a specific angle to emit its radiation and to collect the data. So if a person if it's receiving two heartbeats, so it will give the buzzer to alert and the guards will take action.
So the
It will be
normal
basically a
human,
heat sensor, and we can see how far two people are standing from each other.
a normal human heart beats at around 94 beats per minute. So that's
No,
already
sir,
more than
no, not two heartbeats, two different inputs. मतलब दो अलग-अलग लोगों की heartbeats.
How do you uniquely measure heartbeats from just a heart sensor?
Sir, fair question. Sir, then we will have to install maybe two heartbeats and then use softwares to compare them.
I mean, you can just register whether a heart.
All right.
Okay, fine. I think the point has been made clear. Okay.
Yes, very clearly. So, any other questions?
So Simran, I think we're really tight on a time constraint.
Yeah, so I think this is where we'll end. So thank you guys for coming, and we hope you had an amazing time. We, like I for one, had an amazing time talking to you all. And we hope if anybody, throughout the course of this technological debate, if I may, if your feelings were hurt, or if you felt bad about anything, or you weren't acknowledged by me, I apologize. But time is a constraint, and we really had to stick to it. And I'm sorry I made you guys miss your dinner. So yeah, so this is where we'll end. Thank you guys for coming, and we'll announce the winners on our social media handles soon.
Yeah.
Once we're done deliberating, and we've obviously marked you guys. We just have to compile stuff. And so this is it from our side. We hope you guys have fun. We hope to see some of you, if not all, we prefer all, in the recruitments of IET.
Yeah.
And to much more fun learning sessions.
Also, we really hope you learned a lot and get an idea of what it's like to attend an event full-fledged.
So what's the Insta handle or Facebook page name?
Yeah, the
IET
Insta handle.
Thapar is the Insta handle, and IET_Thapar, and the Facebook page name is TUECE Club. And we'll share the link on Discord for these and on the WhatsApp group as well. If you're not there on any of these, I think we'll put a WhatsApp group link in the chat right now. If someone, one of the mentors. All right, so guys, this is it from our side. Feel free to leave, and if you have any other very specific query, we could take one or two of those. But hey, it's time for dinner, and I'm hungry.
Yeah, and you can also personal message any of the mentor, or you can just ask your query on the WhatsApp group or the Discord server as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really great having you all guys, and I think this will be it from our side. Right, so bye everybody.
Bye guys, thank you.
You really don't want to leave, guys, huh?
Yeah, Shresh, Devanshu को unmute कर दे एक बार. I think you want to say something.
I'm allowed to unmute them. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself anybody.
Yes, sir. I was asking, like, I've previously worked on Arduino before. Could you suggest me some project to work on during this time?
The meeting is gonna end soon. So we suggest that you take up this query on the Discord server or on the WhatsApp group. Just tag on Discord, just say @mentor, and there's a channel for projects. Just go on that. All right.
Sir,
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
sir, I had just a little internship with the IoT brand, so I got a project idea. I want to discuss it.
Yeah, go to the project channel, guys. That is there for this purpose only. We don't have much time now. The meeting is gonna end really soon, on its own actually. The timings are already set. So
The last thing I want to say, we have amazing seniors. Thank you so much.
Thank
I think that's all right. That's all right.
Great session, sir.